Hello, this is a video tutorial for the assignment in Unit 2, Activity 2. In this assignment, you will complete something called a short story chart. And so if you've completed the content of Activity 2 already, then you should have already completed the I read, I think, therefore graphic organizer. So you would have read one of the 3 short stories that you had a choice between at the bottom of the content page. So there was The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, there was the No Time Left, or the I Am the Doorway story. So you chose and read one of those 3, and you filled out the I read, I think, therefore graphic organizer. Now that's your notes. That's your rough work. You're not submitting to me the I read, I think, therefore graphic organizer. What you're going to do, though, is you're going to download a second document called the short story chart. And I'll show you what it looks like downloaded here in a second. But I've sort of copied it out right here as well, so you can see it on this web page. And what you're going to do is you're going to use your notes from the I read, I think, therefore graphic organizer, and you're going to go back to the story itself, and you might have to reread or look at the story again in order to fully answer the questions you're about to do here. And you're going to answer these 6 questions based on story elements. So I'm going to ask you to identify 2 characters in the story, explain whether the first character is flat or round, explain whether the second character is static or dynamic. So whichever one of the 3 stories you read, choose 2 characters from that story. Tell me why the first character is flat or round, and why the second character is static or dynamic, and back yourself up with details from the story. For conflict, I'm going to ask you to identify 2 types of conflict in the story. So is there character versus character versus self, character versus nature? Again, you can always go back to the content section and you can look over the types of conflict. Okay, so identify 2 types of conflict in the story that you read, and then provide an example for each type of conflict. So if you said that there is character versus character in the story, provide an example. Okay, provide something specific from the story that shows character versus character. Then we move on to theme. I'd like you to fully explain the main message of the story and provide supporting detail from the story. So give me the main message or the main theme. You can give it to me in 1 sentence. What is the overall message that this story is trying to present to the reader? And then provide supporting detail from the story which show and explain that theme is evident, or that theme is present in the story. Okay? You'll notice that you're always being asked to back yourself up with evidence from the story. Okay? The 4th question here is mood. I'm going to ask you to identify 1 scene or 1 location in the story and fully describe that scene's mood. So some of these stories will jump around to different locations. You don't have to tell me the mood for all of the different locations. You don't have to tell me some overall mood for the entire story, because sometimes there isn't one. Sometimes the mood changes based on the scene or the location. So I'm asking you to identify 1 specific scene. So just give me a little description of what scene you've chosen here, and then tell me what is the mood in that scene. Okay? And then we've got point of view. So what type of point of view is used in the story? Is it first person? Is it third person observant? Is it third person omniscient? And then give me detail from the story that proves that. So whichever point of view that you say the story is using, make sure you give me evidence proving that. Okay? And then lastly, and this technically isn't a story element from Unit 2, Activity 2. This goes back to Activity 1, but we previously talked about genre. And so I'd like you to tell me which genre best fits the story. Fully explain why. So again, whichever one of the 3 stories you read, which genre does it fit under? And you can go back to Activity 1 if you need a reminder of the different genres that we looked at. Okay? If we actually download the document and open it up, just to show you it's the exact same thing here. And again, you can just type your answers in here. So it says identify 2 characters explain whether the first is flat or round. So say a character is Bob Smith in one of the stories, is flat because, and give your answer, right, and give your supporting details. And then we could say Mary Cooper is static because, and then give your answer. So you can answer the questions right here in the chart. Okay. Make sure you do give me full answers, and make sure you fully explain your points, and of course back yourself up with supporting details. Okay. One last point I'll make is you may use direct quotations from the story as examples. You know, I am asking you to provide supporting details in most of these questions, so you can use direct quotes if you want, but if you do, put quotations around it. You know, show me that you've taken that particular sentence right out of the story. You don't have to use direct quotations, I suppose. You can certainly use your own words to explain the events and what's happening in the story as well, too. But the important bit here is, aside from direct quotations, so if you do use direct quotations from the story, that's fine. But aside from that, you must use your own words, okay? Do not use or cite sources outside the course website. So I don't want you researching these stories online and providing evidence from other websites, or providing words from other students that have previously done this assignment, for example. Okay, so make sure you are using your own words. Okay, if you have any questions at all about the short story chart or about anything in Activity 2, please let me know.